And I say, Kev, that looks gorgeous there at the Fire there.
Thanks very much.
Now, I was thinking on the way up here, I think this bar opened in 427 BC. Some major. Is there any part of your brain thinks, oh, this is a bit of a kind of, like a milestone or a landmark? I really have to step up.
100%. And I'll tell you where it actually became quite prevalent was we, in about 3 months ago, we redid the taps. So the whole of the back bar had to be taken out and put back in. And I found things like, things that I've never seen before, an old pound coin. And,
gold, any gold, any gold.
Nothing good like that. A few IOUs. Yeah, so I mean, it was so, every day I'm reminded about how old this building is. So yeah, that's a huge responsibility and we're loving it.
Well, what's sweet is that the fact that I've grown up in Delgany and all that, there was never like a sense, even though this was hundreds of years old, that it was behind perspex. There was that sort of living, breathing, it was everyday stuff. So, people still, they don't come in thinking it's Evoca and we've got the, genuflect and all that kind of stuff. It's a very, easy place to be.
Yeah, and it's we're becoming more and more easier.
Right.
We've changing the brand a little bit. You see in the back, the restaurant's not called the Bellevue anymore. It's just called the Horse Hound restaurant.
Right.
We're trying to make things easier.
Yeah.
There's no more heritage room. It's more, we have the bar now, the sports bar, and the lounge. The lounge has always been the jewel in the crown, if you know what I mean. It's so important to
It's the center of everything, really, isn't it? Yeah.
But it got too busy, and generally the idea is that if you want to come in with your family and things, go to the lounge. If you want to listen to sports and commentary, go into the bar, And so it does relieve the pressure a little bit from the lounge.
Before we hit on the new things, we should just give a shout out to Mark and Mary. They took over. They basically made it a bigger success than it was when they started, and then they walked away and left in a really good shape. So we kind of have to give them the nod that they. Oh, listen, of course, they had their way and they did a good job.
100%. And one of the big things I thought that they left, which is the clientele that they left behind is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like they really did spend a lot of time on who drank and it shows. Our clients are fantastic, and there's not. They spend a lot of time on that, and it definitely shows. So yeah, listen, they did a great job, and good luck. I believe they're enjoying France now, so they'll be okay.
Absolutely. I was thinking, since I've known you, I always thought you'd be good behind a bar, and I don't know whether that's anything you had in your head early on that you'd like to be in this business. Was it?
Yeah, so I was in the business in Cape Town for a long time, bars, restaurants, that sort of thing. Then I got to Ireland, thought maybe rugby coaching, try something different. I mean, it's taxing. It does. It's a lot of work. So, and then obviously I got involved with Claire in the airport, and then I was having too much fun with that, too much time on my hands, and she said, "Look, none of that. You need to get back into it." And it just, I've always said the only place I'd really go back to would be the horse. Obviously, I was with Sinan and Las Tapas for a while. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
So, but it takes it out of you. But I have a big passion for the horse. So I was happy to take it.
Well, we should give a nod to Claire now. She's working in the background, doing an amazing job as always with the food. So that idea that she would kind of naturally be involved, it must be a good feeling that somebody you obviously know very well and love and trust is kind of taking care of a very important part of the business.
100%. Like. I will say, I'll give a nod out to the previous chef as well. He was a fantastic chef. His vision and my vision just didn't match. He wanted to change the menu every 6 weeks and stuff. And unfortunately,
you just want chips. You said.
Look, I'm a basic guy. Now, in saying that, if I won the Euro Millions, I'd probably back him in a restaurant. You know what I mean? But it just, we're trying to simplify things and just, to make it easy. And the Claire coming on board was just, it was always going to happen. She was giving out consistently about my decisions. So I said, look, you've got two options. You can either join or leave me alone.
You can get out for the back seat, come up here at the front.
And you know what? She's had a business here for 10 years. And she knows the place well. And it just sort of happened.
So when it came to the changes, and the bar is great, and you've opened up this room into where the restaurant is now and all that, these all kind of like sit down one night and brainstorm, or was it just step by step you kind of recognise, what would work, this would work, and did it take a while?
Yeah, to be honest, it was probably it was probably the product of me drinking here for 6 years before. I always had it in my head that, I always had ideas. And like Claire going into the kitchen, Aidan said to me, look, you moan about it all the time. You might as well try give it a go. But look, I mean, the idea is that it's just free flowing. The problem is the lounge is so successful, but half the lounge people didn't even know there was a restaurant.
Right.
Didn't even know. So opening up the sides,
Well, taking the door out and
you can now see
walkthrough.
into the garden, and it's a very big part of it.
Yeah.
And obviously, the previous guys, they called it the outdoor eatery. It's actually a beer garden now. People can sit down. You can bring your dog.
Yes.
If you're going for a walk, it's a good spot to have a little bit of a half time with the dog.
And you're obviously a big feng shui guy, I can tell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very, very feng shui.
I mean, the smoking section's back as well. So we need. That was a big part of it. Is that in the past we only used to use 30% of this place.
Yes.
And if the real beauty of this place is 100%. So we've had a few days now where, the big rugby games and the Ireland versus England, the whole place is packed. People are sitting in the smoking area watching the game. We've now put a projector into the restaurant because on big days there's no one there,
Right.
So because obviously everyone will be watching it in the pub or at home or whatever. So it lends itself to now all of a sudden where there were just 60 people watching something or any event really. I mean, people say I'm a rugby pub, but the reality is if there's 400 people who want to watch darts, I'm in.
Yes.
Like whatever, I'll change whatever needs to be done. So yeah.
Being of an older generation of Delganytes, it is lovely to see the bar back as a bar. It's got always that feeling like it's a little bit illicit or something's going on in there. It feels like a prohibition era kind of a bar.
Yeah. Well, look, it is. I mean, we opened it in February.
Yeah.
It's now, we use it as a weekend spot at the moment. We'd love to see it come back to every day from 12 o'clock situation.
Yeah.
We're currently changing our hours constantly.
Right.
So from now on, we're open Wednesdays for lunch at 12.
Right.
Right to Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday is just 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see a day where we're open every day. In the future, hopefully that happens.
Well, of course, there are always, things on the horizon. I know that the accommodation, there's things that you've basically got coming, as it were, like things that will be changing, and we can list them above, but are there certain things that you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't, I must be honest, obviously I knew about the accommodation out the back, and I was a bit if I have to be honest, I didn't know how it would work, but being involved in the process, seeing the plans, that's definitely going ahead next year.
Right.
I'm very excited. They've kept the feel of the Horse and Hound. It's I can't really explain it. You'll have to wait and see the plans, but in the beginning, I was a bit nervous, but I can't wait for that because with that comes other things. That will bring us to 25 rooms. That's a very important.
Well,
part
given that there's no hotels around here, it's pretty amazing that that isn't been sorted yet. But the idea you would have somewhere here, because I know I've got family who stayed here and they love it because it's very convenient, very handy.
When my dad comes, he stays here.
There you go.
No, we're looking forward to that, and then with that will come, then we'll start to do, because at the moment we only offer room accommodation, then we can get into bed and breakfast and all that sort of jazz. But,
so I suppose the last thing is, was there, given you've known the bar forever, you've been involved in this business before, was there any kind of long night of thinking, should I, shouldn't I? No. I
must be honest. To be honest, no, there wasn't. Look, obviously you talk, Claire was very supportive and wanted me into it. That was, she knew that I could do it and supported me for it. And it's there's so much potential here. And I love the area. I love, obviously we live here, we work here. There was never any question of whether I should do it or not.
Well, take this as a compliment. You're a natural fit.